What if you could turn your greatest challenges into your most profound victories? Imagine standing at a crossroads in life, facing an unexpected setback, a difficult conversation, or a moment of intense pressure. In that very instant, you have a choice that could either escalate the situation or transform it into an opportunity for growth. The secret to making this choice wisely? Training your mind to respond, not react. In today's fast-paced world where emotions run high and external pressures often dictate our actions, the ability to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully has never been more valuable. This is where Stoicism, an ancient philosophy with timeless relevance, becomes a powerful tool. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, believed that while we cannot control the events that happen to us, we can always control our interpretation and reaction to them. They taught that true power lies not in changing the world around us, but in mastering our own mind. The way we respond to life's challenges defines our personal growth, emotional stability, and long-term success. However, most people react rather than respond. When caught off guard, we let anger, fear, or frustration take control, leading to impulsive decisions and unnecessary suffering. Consider a time when you were criticized unfairly. Did you snap back defensively? Or did you take a moment to assess the situation and respond in a way that aligned with your values? The difference between reacting and responding is simple yet profound. A reaction is immediate and emotional, often driven by impulse. A response, on the other hand, is thoughtful and intentional, guided by wisdom rather than fleeting emotions. Developing this ability allows us to navigate difficult situations with grace, clarity, and resilience, ultimately shaping our character and future. In this discussion, we will explore how to cultivate this skill, drawing from both Stoic philosophy and modern psychology. By the end, you will have practical strategies to train your mind, stay centered in adversity, and turn emotional triggers into moments of empowerment. So let's begin our journey into the art of responding, not reacting, a mindset that can transform not only your inner world, but also the way you engage with life itself. Every day we are faced with moments that test our patience, challenge our emotions, and demand a response. The difference between reacting and responding can mean the difference between conflict and resolution, frustration and growth, or even failure and success. Emotion. Over reason, a reaction is immediate, instinctive, and often fueled by raw emotions. It bypasses deliberate thought and is usually driven by anger, fear, or frustration. When we react, we give up control. We allow our emotions to dictate our actions, often leading to regretful decisions. Consider this. You receive an email from your boss criticizing your recent work. Feeling attacked, you immediately fire off an angry reply, defending yourself aggressively. Moments later, regret sets in. You realize your tone was harsh and your response only escalated the situation. The result? Strained relationships, more stress, and damage to your professional image. Thoughtful and intentional. A response, on the other hand, is deliberate and rooted in wisdom. Instead of reacting on impulse, you take a moment to process the situation, understand your emotions, and choose an action that aligns with your values and long-term goals. Now, imagine the same scenario. Instead of immediately replying to the email, you take a few deep breaths, step away from your computer, and assess the situation rationally. You recognize that your boss's feedback, while critical, might be an opportunity for growth. After careful reflection, you craft a measured, professional response, acknowledging the feedback and asking for clarification on how you can improve. This not only de-escalates the situation, but also fosters respect and professional growth. The power of choice, true freedom. The key takeaway? Between stimulus and response, there is always a choice. And in that choice lies true freedom. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we respond to them. When we master the art of responding instead of reacting, we take back control of our lives. We become less controlled by circumstances and more guided by reason and principle. Over time, this builds emotional resilience, strengthens relationships, and enhances our ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and composure. So, how do we cultivate this mindset? In the next section, we will explore how Stoic philosophy teaches us to develop this powerful ability by shifting our focus from external events to internal mastery. The Stoics, great thinkers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, taught a powerful truth that remains just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies a simple yet profound idea. While we cannot control external events, we have absolute control over how we interpret and respond to them. This distinction is the foundation of emotional resilience and personal mastery. Perception shapes experience. Our perception of a situation influences our emotions more than the situation itself. When we see an event as a threat, we react with fear or anger. But when we see the same event as a challenge or opportunity, we respond with calm and confidence. Take Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, who ruled during plagues, wars, and political turmoil. Instead of seeing these crises as unbearable hardships, he viewed them as opportunities to practice wisdom, patience, and virtue. His perspective allowed him to govern with clarity and composure, even in the most chaotic times. Cognitive reframing. A modern parallel to Stoicism, modern psychology supports this Stoic idea through a concept called cognitive reframing. The practice of changing the way we interpret situations to shift our emotional response. Instead of being controlled by our initial reactions, we can reframe challenges to see them in a more constructive light. For example, imagine receiving harsh criticism at work. A reactive mindset might see it as a personal attack, leading to defensiveness or self-doubt. But a Stoic mindset using cognitive reframing would recognize the feedback as a learning opportunity, a chance to improve, adapt, and grow. Consider this shift in perspective. Reactive mindset. They don't appreciate my work. This is unfair. Stoic reframing. This is a chance to learn and refine my skills. How can I use this feedback to improve? This small shift in how we interpret events drastically changes how we feel and respond. Instead of spiraling into negativity, we gain clarity, control, and growth. The power of controlling your mind by applying Stoic wisdom and modern cognitive reframing. We train our minds to respond with reason rather than impulse. We stop being victims of circumstance and instead become masters of our own perspective. This ability to see challenges as lessons, setbacks as redirections, and criticism as feedback is what allows us to navigate life with strength and serenity. In the next section, we'll explore practical techniques to cultivate this mindset, including the power of the pause, the secret weapon that allows us to step back, assess, and choose the best response. One of the most powerful lessons in mastering our reactions comes from Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and renowned psychologist. He famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our Response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This simple yet profound idea is the key to emotional intelligence and self-mastery. When we create space between what happens to us and how we react, we regain control over our emotions, words, and actions. Introducing the pause, reflect, respond technique. The pause, reflect, respond technique is a practical way to develop this skill. It consists of 3 simple steps. Pause. The moment you feel triggered, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, take a brief pause. Just a few seconds can make a huge difference. Reflect. Ask yourself, what is really happening? How do I want to respond? Will my reaction align with my values and long-term goals? Respond. After assessing the situation with a clear mind, choose a response that is intentional and constructive. This method transforms impulsive reactions into thoughtful decisions, improving everything from personal relationships to professional interactions. How high performers use the pause to stay calm. Under pressure, athletes, military personnel, and top professionals all train their minds to remain calm under pressure. This isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about controlling them so they work for you, not against you. Elite athletes practice mental discipline to stay focused, even when under extreme pressure. A basketball player at the free throw line doesn't let the crowd's noise distract them. They pause, breathe, and take the shot with intention. Military personnel are trained to remain composed in combat. Instead of reacting out of fear, they assess the situation, process their options, and act with precision. Successful business leaders know that reacting impulsively in high-stakes negotiations can cost them deals. Instead, they pause before responding, ensuring their words align with strategic goals. By practicing deliberate pauses, these individuals condition their minds to make the best decisions, regardless of external pressure. Small daily exercises to strengthen the power of the pause, like any skill, self-control is trainable. Here are simple daily exercises to help build this ability. Count to 3 before speaking. When tempted to respond emotionally, silently count to 3. This small gap allows logic to catch up with emotion. Deep breathing. A few deep breaths can reset your nervous system and disengage you from an emotional reaction. Try inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and exhaling for 4 seconds. Mindful observation. When feeling frustrated or stressed, pause and observe your surroundings without judgment. This technique helps ground you in the present moment. Journaling reflections. At the end of the day, write down moments where you successfully paused before reacting. Over time, you'll notice your self-awareness and emotional control improving. The takeaway: strength through stillness. The power of the pause is about cultivating inner stillness amid chaos. When we pause before reacting, we reclaim our power, choosing clarity over confusion, wisdom over impulse, and strength over weakness. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how reframing emotional triggers can further transform our responses, allowing us to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. How we interpret an event determines how we feel about it, far more than the event itself. This concept is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that external events are neutral. It is only our perception that makes them appear good or bad. Consider this powerful insight from Marcus Aurelius. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This means that by reframing our emotional triggers, we can transform frustration into growth, setbacks into opportunities, and adversity into strength. The role of negative visualization. Training for resilience, one of the most effective Stoic techniques for reframing is negative visualization, also known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice involves imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen, not to create anxiety, but to mentally prepare and reduce their emotional impact. Why negative visualization works detachment from fear and anxiety. When we confront our fears in advance, they lose their grip on us. Instead of dreading uncertainty, we become mentally prepared for any outcome. Gratitude for the present. By considering what we could lose, we learn to appreciate what we have rather than taking it for granted. Greater emotional control. When an actual challenge arises, we're less reactive because we've already envisioned the scenario and thought through how to handle it. The Stoics, including Seneca, practiced this daily. He would imagine losing his wealth, status, or even his life, not to dwell in negativity, but to detach from the fear of loss and cultivate gratitude for what he had in the present. Example: a missed promotion. Reacting versus responding. Let's apply reframing and negative visualization to a common modern scenario. Missing out on a job promotion. The reactive mindset. You feel undervalued, angry, and resentful. You blame others, stew in frustration, and consider quitting impulsively. The emotional reaction leads to bitterness and poor decision-making. The Stoic response. Instead of reacting, you pause and reframe. What can I learn from this? What skills can I improve? How can I use this experience to grow? You practice negative visualization, considering that setbacks are part of life. You realize that many successful people have faced rejection before achieving great things. Instead of feeling like a victim, you channel your energy into self-improvement, refining your skills, and seeking feedback to increase your chances for the next opportunity. By reframing the situation, you shift from frustration to empowerment. You train your mind to focus on what is within your control, leading to better decisions, less stress, and long-term success. The power of perspective. Shaping your reality at any moment, we can choose to see events differently. Reframing emotional triggers isn't about denying emotions but adjusting our perspective so that emotions serve us rather than control us. By practicing negative visualization, detaching from irrational fears, and choosing interpretations that align with growth, we train ourselves to respond to life's challenges with clarity, strength, and resilience. In the next section, we'll explore how emotional mastery and self-awareness can further strengthen our ability to respond with wisdom and intention. Mastering our emotions is not about suppressing them. It's about understanding and managing them before they dictate our behavior. The Stoics recognize that emotions are a natural part of the human experience, but they also understood that allowing emotions to control our actions leads to impulsive decisions, unnecessary suffering, and regret. In modern psychology, this concept aligns with emotional intelligence, EQ, the ability to recognize, understand, and regulate emotions in a way that serves our long-term well-being. When we become aware of our emotions, we gain the power to respond to them rather than be ruled by them. Step 1. Emotional awareness. Recognizing before reacting. The first step toward emotional mastery is learning to identify emotions before they take control. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? Is my emotional reaction helping or harming me? For example, if you feel anger rising after receiving criticism, pause and analyze. Are you truly upset by the criticism itself? Or is it your interpretation of it that is causing frustration? Is this an opportunity to improve and learn, rather than take offense? This small moment of self-awareness creates the space needed to respond with wisdom, rather than react with impulse. Step 2. Journaling. A Stoic practice for emotional reflection. 1. Of the most powerful Stoic techniques for emotional mastery is journaling. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most disciplined Stoics, used journaling as a tool for self-examination. His personal writings, now known as meditations, were a way to reflect on his emotions, question his reactions, and align his thoughts with reason. How journaling helps emotional mastery makes emotions visible. Writing down your feelings helps you detach from them, allowing you to analyze them objectively rather than being overwhelmed. Identifies patterns. Over time, journaling reveals repetitive emotional triggers, allowing you to address underlying issues rather than reacting to surface-level frustrations. Strengthens self-control. By reflecting on past emotional reactions, you gain the ability to course-correct and improve future responses. Simple journaling. Prompts for emotional awareness. What event triggered an emotional reaction today? How did I initially react, and was that reaction helpful? How could I have responded differently? What lesson can I take from this experience? By incorporating this Stoic practice, you train your mind to become more self-aware, more thoughtful, and more resilient in handling emotions. Step 3. Neuroscience and emotional regulation. The brain's role in decision-making. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics knew thousands of years ago. Emotional regulation strengthens our ability to make better decisions. The science behind emotional mastery. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, is responsible for immediate impulsive reactions, our fight or flight response. The prefrontal cortex is the rational thinking part of the brain, responsible for long-term planning, logical decision-making, and self-control. When we pause and reflect before responding, we strengthen the connection between these two brain areas, allowing rational thinking to override impulsive reactions. How to strengthen emotional regulation. Mindfulness practices. Engaging in mindfulness or meditation calms the amygdala, reducing overactive emotional responses. Breathing techniques. Deep breathing triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress and helping us regain emotional balance before reacting. Cognitive reframing. Consciously shifting. How we perceive an event reduces emotional intensity, helping us respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Final thought. Mastering your mind. Mastering your life. Emotional mastery is not about eliminating emotions. It's about developing the awareness and tools to manage them effectively. Through self-awareness, journaling, and neuroscience-backed strategies, we gain the power to respond to life's challenges with clarity, resilience, and wisdom. In the next section, we will explore daily Stoic exercises to strengthen your ability to respond over react, turning these principles into lifelong habits. Training your mind to respond rather than react is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Like strengthening a muscle, developing a Stoic mindset requires consistent effort in everyday situations. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to stay composed, thoughtful, and in control. The Stoics did not just discuss philosophy, they lived it. They incorporated specific daily exercises to reinforce their principles, ensuring they remained aligned with reason and virtue. Here are 3 powerful Stoic exercises you can practice every day to strengthen your ability to respond with wisdom and intention. Morning reflection. setting the intention to respond wisely. The morning is the foundation of your mindset for the day. How you begin your day shapes how you handle challenges, emotions, and interactions. The Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings by mentally preparing for the difficulties he might face, reminding himself that he would encounter people who were rude, impatient, or ignorant, but that their behavior was beyond his control. He would affirm his values: patience, wisdom, justice, and self-discipline. How to apply this today? Before you start your day, take a few minutes to reflect and set your intention. What situations might challenge my emotions today? How will I choose to respond instead of react? Which Stoic virtues, patience, wisdom, courage, will I embody? By mentally preparing for obstacles in advance, you train yourself to handle them rationally and calmly when they arise. Evening self-assessment. Reviewing your reactions versus responses. At the end of the day, self-reflection allows us to refine our behavior and learn from our experiences. Stoic philosophers believed that an unexamined day was a wasted one. The Stoic practice. Seneca was known for his nightly reflections. He would review his day and ask himself, where did I react emotionally? When I should have paused? Where did I succeed in responding with wisdom? How can I improve tomorrow? How to apply this today? Before bed, take 5 to 10 minutes to journal or reflect. Identify one moment where you reacted emotionally. What triggered it? How could you have responded better? Recall one success, a time you responded with patience and reason. Commit to improving tomorrow. Over time, this practice rewires your brain, making mindful responses your default behavior. Gratitude practice. Shifting focus from external frustrations to internal growth. Why does gratitude matter in Stoicism? Because frustration comes from focusing on what we lack or what we cannot control. Gratitude shifts our focus to what we have and what we can control, our mindset, actions, and personal growth. The Stoic practice. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events but from our judgments of them. By practicing gratitude, we shift our perspective, making us more resilient to challenges. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, appreciate what's right. Your health, your knowledge, your ability to improve. How to apply this today? Each morning or evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for, big or small. When facing frustration, reframe it with gratitude. Missed an opportunity? Be grateful for the lesson it taught you. Someone upset you? Be grateful for the chance to practice patience stuck in traffic. Use the time to reflect or listen to something meaningful. The power of small daily practices. Practicing morning reflection, evening self-assessment, and gratitude every day rewires your brain to be more calm, rational, and resilient. Over time, you will naturally begin responding to challenges with clarity instead of reacting impulsively. In the next section, we'll explore how developing a responsive mindset can improve your relationships, leadership skills, and overall resilience in life. Mastering the art of responding rather than reacting doesn't just benefit your personal peace of mind, it profoundly influences your relationships, leadership abilities, and overall presence in the world. When you respond thoughtfully, you create a ripple effect, inspiring those around you to communicate with more patience, understanding, and emotional intelligence. The way we respond to conflict, criticism, and challenges sets the tone for the people in our lives. Whether in our relationships, workplaces, or daily interactions, Choosing a calm, reasoned response over an impulsive reaction fosters trust, respect, and deeper connections. How thoughtful responses improve relationships, whether personal or professional, thrive on understanding and communication. But when emotions take control, we often say things we don't mean, escalate conflicts unnecessarily, or act in ways that create distance instead of connection. Consider this real-life example. Navigating a heated argument with Stoic thinking. Imagine you're in an argument with a friend, partner, or colleague. Tensions rise and they say something frustrating. The reactive approach: you interrupt, defend yourself aggressively, or counterattack. The argument escalates, leaving both parties frustrated and unheard. The Stoic response: instead of reacting immediately, you pause, take a deep breath, and listen. You remind yourself, their words are beyond my control, but my response is within my control. By choosing to respond rather than react, you shift the conversation from a heated clash to a constructive dialogue. You might say, I hear what you're saying. Let's take a step back so we can understand each other better. I see that this means a lot to you. Can you help me understand your perspective? This simple shift in response diffuses tension, fosters deeper understanding, and leads to resolution rather than resentment. Applying Stoicism to leadership, parenting, and personal growth. The Stoic practice of responding rather than reacting is not just a personal virtue. It's a leadership skill that can transform how you influence and guide others. Leadership, the power of composed decision-making. Great leaders, whether in business, politics, or communities, are known for their ability to stay calm under pressure. Instead of reacting emotionally, they assess the situation, consider long-term consequences, and respond strategically. Example: a leader receives harsh feedback from their team. Instead of reacting defensively, they pause, reflect, and ask, what can I learn from this? Result: they earn respect, improve their leadership skills, and create a culture of open communication. Parenting, teaching children. Emotional control. Children mirror the emotional responses of the adults around them. A parent who responds thoughtfully teaches their child resilience, patience, and problem-solving skills. Example: a child throws a tantrum. Instead of reacting with frustration, the parent remains calm and says, I see that you're upset. Let's talk about what's bothering you. Result: the child learns emotional regulation instead of reacting impulsively in the future. Personal growth. Becoming a pillar of stability. When you train your mind to respond with wisdom, you become a source of stability for those around you. People feel safer, more valued, and more respected in your presence. You attract stronger relationships built on trust. You gain a reputation for wisdom and composure. You create an inner sense of peace that is unshaken by external chaos. The bigger picture. Changing the world one response at a time. When you choose to respond with wisdom instead of reacting emotionally, you inspire others to do the same. Your relationships improve, your leadership influence grows, and you become an anchor of stability in a world that often feels chaotic. In the next section, we will explore how to fully embody the Stoic way in daily life, ensuring that responding over reacting becomes a lasting habit. Life will continue to challenge us. Unexpected difficulties, conflicts, and emotional triggers will always arise. But true power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering how we respond to them. The ability to respond rather than react is not just a skill, it is a way of life. It is the difference between being tossed around by emotions and standing firm with clarity and wisdom. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius ruled through war and plague yet remained composed. Epictetus was born into slavery yet found freedom through his mindset. Seneca faced political turmoil, yet embraced every challenge as a lesson in virtue. Their lives were proof that circumstances do not determine our peace of mind. Our responses do. Your challenge: apply one Stoic technique. Today, theory without action is useless. The true test of this knowledge is how you apply it in daily life. So here is your challenge. Practice one Stoic technique today. When faced with frustration, pause before reacting. Observe the moment, take a deep breath, and choose your response. Reframe an emotional trigger. Instead of seeing an obstacle as a setback, view it as an opportunity for growth. End the day with reflection. Identify one moment where you reacted emotionally and think about how you could have responded differently. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to approach life with calm, reason, and strength. Continue your Stoic journey. If today's discussion resonated with you, dive deeper into Stoicism and the art of mastering your mind. Some recommended resources: Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Personal Reflections of a Stoic Emperor on Wisdom, Resilience, and Self-Discipline, The Enchiridion by Epictetus, a handbook on how to control your thoughts and reactions, Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, practical advice on how to live with virtue and peace. Listen to Stoic philosophy podcasts like The Daily Stoic for daily insights. By choosing to respond rather than react, you are not only improving your own life, but also inspiring those around you to do the same. You become a source of strength, wisdom, and composure in a world that often lacks it. So as you move forward, remember, your power lies in the pause. Master your mind, and you master your life. Now go out there and practice the Stoic way.